Hello and welcome to another one of my weekly reflections. Last week, like many parents are doing up and down the country, I was helping my youngest daughter Bethany with some homework. This involved us listening to a story called Tadpole's Promise by Jeanne Willis, and then Bethany answering some questions about the story. The story was about a tadpole and a caterpillar who were in love and they never wanted each other to change. However, over time, as tadpoles and caterpillars do, they turned into a frog and a beautiful butterfly. The story had a surprisingly sad ending, with the frog accidentally eating the butterfly because he didn't recognise her. But I think a reflection on how I felt about that is for a different time. The thing about the story that made me think of this week was that of change. Over the last 10 to 12 weeks, all of us have experienced immense change. There is no aspect of our lives that haven't been affected in some way, whether that be how we interact and care for each other, shop, work, play or worship. All these elements of our lives have been affected by the coronavirus pandemic. And I hope that over the next few weeks, things will continue to change as the restrictions on the lockdown are slightly eased and lifted. However, I very much doubt that life will return to how it was, and in some ways, I hope it doesn't. The coronavirus has brought much pain and suffering, with many people becoming severely ill and, with great sadness, dying, while others have experienced significant hardship due to being unable to work and care for their families. But there has been some good that has come out of all this. I believe that during this pandemic we have become much less of an individualistic society, with many of us being willing to help others in need, getting to know our neighbours better, and appreciating the importance of the NHS and our amazing key workers, from supermarket assistants to doctors. Change is never easy. It is a challenge to come to terms with new ways of living, and I'm sure that many of us will have to adapt to a new normal in the months to come. In some ways, you could say that in this moment of time, we are in the wilderness. When the Israelites were freed from their slavery in Egypt, they went through the Red Sea into the wilderness on the way to the Promised Land. This journey could have taken them around 11 days, but instead, it took them 40 years. Many of them found it difficult to accept the changes and challenges that they were facing, with some saying that they wished they had never left Egypt and remained a slave. It took the Israelites time to accept their newfound freedom and their new way of life. As we enter this next stage of change, of starting to discover what the new normal looks like, let's not forget what we have learnt along the way. Let's not forget about the importance of community, of caring for others, of our NHS, of all our key workers. Let's ensure that out of this dreadful pandemic, that we do not slide back into old ways and become a society of individuals again. Instead, let's embrace what this journey has taught us, that together we are much stronger and can overcome any challenges that we have to face. Thank you for spending these few moments with me, and I pray that you will remain safe and that I'll see you soon. Thank you and God bless.